What's up, everybody? This is Brandon with Cut Customs, back in the garage again. And for a little while today, I decided to go ahead and install the heads. I completed putting the new valves and springs on the heads yesterday, so I was going to go ahead and install them. As you can see, I've decided to do a little paint, and I went ahead and went with an aluminum colored, ceramic filled paint, so high temp paint. And the other accessories I will paint another color, and I'm going to surprise y'all with that, so I'm not going to disclose that color at this time, but when it's done and put together, you will see what that color will be. I just wanted to go over a few things that we've put on here and upgraded, like the timing set. Instead of the stock timing chain, we went ahead and went with the double roller, which is all pre-lubed up here, and new gears as well. So, and with the heads, I went ahead and did a little bit of porting and polishing on them. Nothing too extreme. Just tried to remove a lot of the imperfections of the casting material, and I didn't want to make them super smooth because this is going to be a carbureted engine, so when you do something like that, you've got your air and fuel all coming through the intake into the intake runners, and you need a little bit of a rough edge, for that air and fuel to be able to catch those rough edges and swirl around and mix, or else you're going to have some puddling of fuel in here if you try to make it like glassy smooth. Which is another discussion when you get into fuel injected and direct gasoline injected engines. But since this is carbureted, remove a lot of the thick imperfections of the casting material that's inside of these runners and everything, and just knock it down so you get a little bit better flow coming through here. But you don't want to make it too smooth, or you reduce the swirl effect that happens when it's coming through there and mixing with those rough edges, kind of swirling the air around. Enough of that, but we went ahead and also upgraded the flat rockers to some roller tipped rockers. As you can see here, a little bit of lubricant, so those are all new. We've got brand new comp cams push rods as well, and all new valve springs, and the umbrella seals, valve stem seals are in there, so that's all new. Went ahead and bought a new set of head bolts to bolt everything down with. So that's all going to be nice and tight. And since the surfaces of the block and head were incredibly straight, the gasket that I used on it was a little bit thinner than stock, so that would increase the compression a little bit. So I wasn't worried about having any leaks there with anything being warped or deformed, since it was incredibly straight. So try to pull as much horsepower out of this thing as we can by replacing a lot of the factory flat parts with something that's got rollers on it. Of course, we've got the new flat tappet hydraulic lifters installed as well, and I went ahead and adjusted all those just now. I've got one side done, and we'll do the other side here in a little bit, but it's coming along. That with the all new rotating assembly, all new crankshaft, pistons, rings, rods, the whole shebang. It's all new internals, so it's coming together pretty nice. I just wanted to give you guys a quick heads up on this and show you how it's coming along. So whatever this thing goes in, it's going to be a hopping little engine. So with the new cam, went with the crane cams energizer. This is basically a step above a stock cam, so you get a little bit more lift, a little bit duration, something that's still going to be economy efficient as far as fuel, but it's going to give you a little bit torque, a little bit more torque in your typical 2,000 to 4,000 RPM range. This isn't going to be a racing engine, so we don't want to go with anything too crazy. We still want it to idle well and perform well, just cruising down the street. So we've done that, and yeah, the next step is going to be plop this other head on here, get all that buttoned up, add our timing chain covers and seals, and our rest of the lower end there, and you know, then we'll move on to the intake and all that good stuff. So that's what's happening with this, guys. A little bit excited about it coming together. So you know, anybody's interested, this is a small block Chevy 350, no bore, standard bore. I'm expecting it to be around 300 to 310 horsepower range. If I can get it over to a dyno at some point, I might try to do that after it's completed, but that's what I'm expecting to get, between 8.5 and 9 on the 9-to-1 on the compression ratio. So that would be nice, and it's going to perform really well. Appreciate you guys. We'll see y'all next time. Laters.